Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, 2017 film starring The Rock, Jack Black, Karen Gillan, and Kevin Hart. When the film was first released, I was not really interested in seeing it, partly because it looked like a generic The Rock movie, and partly because as a kid I really enjoyed the original Jumanji, and I'm not the biggest fan of rebooting known franchises after years. It just seems like a cash grab to me. But since then, I have heard lots of positive things about the film. How many people were surprised by how good it turned out. And since there is a sequel coming out in less than a month, I thought I'd finally give it a chance. So, the movie is actually not a reboot or a remake of Jumanji. It's a proper sequel that references the original, although it does take place many years after and features new characters. As you may remember, the titular Jumanji was a magical board game that would suck people in and force them to play until the end, and the game itself would feature loads of wildlife being released into the real world for the players to deal with. At the start of the film, we see that in 1996, due to kids being disinterested in board games and preferring video games instead, Jumanji itself morphs into a video game cartridge. It is then found many years later by four kids who are at school in detention. They decide to give it a go and select their characters, and then they get sucked into a game inhabiting the bodies of their new characters. They cannot leave before they complete the game, and the twist is that each of the avatars is wildly different than who they are in real life. Spencer, an awkward nerd, becomes The Rock. Fridge, a tall, muscular, bulky football player, becomes Kevin Hart. Martha, a shy and awkward girl, becomes Karen Gillan, and Karen Gillan in a Lara Croft inspired sexy outfit, which is made fun of. And finally, Bethany, a self absorbed, social media obsessed teenage girl, becomes Jack Black. And this is who I want to start with, Jack Black. He's the best part of the film by far. He's just terrific at playing a teenage girl. His lines, his moves, his mannerisms, the looks he gives to other players, to The Rock. I mean, all of it is just top notch. Every time he's on the screen, he steals the moment. And my favorite scene of the entire film is when he teaches Karen Gillan's character how to be seductive. It's just genuinely super funny stuff. The Rock and Karen Gillan are both quite entertaining as well. Kevin Hart, I personally dislike him because I think he's doing the same joke over and over in every film he's in, which is basically to shout in a funny voice about how short he is. But even he is bearable here. About the film itself, I think it is in fact quite alright. It's a mix between straight adventure movie, of which not that many are coming out nowadays, come to think of it, and a coming of age story. There are strong vibes of the Breakfast Club here. The kids are initially at odds with one another, but in learning to cooperate and trust one another, they also undergo change and realize stuff about themselves that will help make them better people, and they also change the way they look at each other. I do think that the narrative could have been tighter, and I'd like to see maybe 15-20 minutes of the film shaved off to improve pacing. But honestly, for what it's trying to do, Welcome to the Jungle is a pretty good film. It's a simple yet fun adventure that can be enjoyed by the entire family. It's got moments of brilliant humor in it. It pokes fun at some of the video game tropes in an intelligent way. It's not ambitious, but it doesn't pretend to be, and so as this charming, entertaining popcorn flick, I think it works.